In this Hogwarts Legacy video, I'm going to be talking about 7 things that were completely unexpected for me in Hogwarts Legacy, things that I absolutely did not think would be part of this game and have been blowing my mind. Before we get into that, however, again, just a big shout out to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video. You can use the tracking link below to pick up the game and support the channel. And again, you can get early access to this game if you purchase the deluxe edition on PS5, Xbox Series X or S, or PC. So let's jump into the first thing, and that is Hogwarts Fidelity. What do we mean when we say Hogwarts Fidelity? Hogwarts Fidelity is essentially the fact that they have managed to capture Hogwarts Castle and its immediate surrounding grounds in a way I did not think possible. It is potentially done, it's not even potentially done, it's done better than the films even, and the sense of wonder and exploration you get from exploring the castle is something I never expected to this degree. I always thought the castle would be done very well, and I thought I would enjoy my time exploring it, but the amount of detail and creativity put into this structure is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's not just the classrooms and the little details put in here with knickknacks and strewn books and little items to find, but it's the corridors, the areas between the grounds, the way the castle connects to itself, and how you're wandering the corridors like not knowing exactly where to go because this place is enormous, just like a castle would be or Hogwarts would be. Everything about it is captured in such a way that you just are mesmerized. I mean, you're running around the castle, you can spend hours doing this. I thought it would be like rooms connected by corridors, and I think it would be, very well done. But it exceeded even my expectations, even from what I've seen from gameplay pre-release. And frankly, it's the best rendition of Hogwarts Castle you will ever see anywhere. So the next point I want to talk about is another point you'll notice almost immediately, which is the sheer number of voiced lines in this game, the amount of voice dialogue, the amount of dialogue options that you have, the amount of unique characters there are. We've all seen open world games where they're stuffed with very similar characters or very similar voice acting, or the same character voice acting multiple characters, or just NPCs that have no name at all that are wandering around that really don't have any effect on the game world. But the sheer number of, relevant characters in this game so far is absolutely staggering, and I think it's going to blow your mind how many there are. It's one of those things that I think as a open world game, developers probably struggle with. How much narrative and story and dialogue and audio can you put in when you have to make such a huge game world? Games have done it well in the past, like The Witcher, for instance. That had very good voice acting and a lot of unique characters. But I think Hogwarts Legacy does a phenomenal job in this regard for such a large game. Which obviously brings me to my next point, which is how big this game actually is. This game sort of does a bit of a bait and switch on you, which means that like at the beginning of the game, you're exploring Hogwarts and you're going to Hogsmeade and getting your wand and stuff like that. And you sort of are not completely confined, but a little bit confined to the areas just surrounding Hogwarts Castle. And it feels like, oh, this is going to be the bulk of the gameplay somehow. But then you reach a point and it opens up and you have all this area to explore. And the size of the area that you have to explore is so much larger than I ever anticipated. I don't know exactly how much landmass is in this game or how long it would take you to explore everything because we simply did not have time before launch to get it all done in the time frame. But there is, I would estimate it's at least 50 to 70 hours, somewhere in that range to do everything. It could be more. I'm not going to say it's more, but it's probably somewhere in that time frame. And it is just so much larger. I would have been happy if it was half the size that it was, but it's like probably double or 50% larger than my expectations, which is incredible. And it just makes you want to play this game more and explore the game more. And I think people's minds are absolutely going to be blown at this size and scope of this game. And another thing that's absolutely incredible about the size of this is they've managed to keep the Hogwarts Wizarding World feel to the entire world. I don't know how they managed to do this because, frankly, I was expecting to use the brand for Hogwarts and then everything else is open world and kind of vaguely, feels like Hogwarts or Harry Potter or whatever. But they managed to capture the feeling. Like you go to these little quaint towns and places and explore ruins, and it has that sort of cheeky, whimsical, magical feel to it that, the Wizarding World is known for. And they managed to do it on such a scale. It's not just the scale of the game that impressed me, it's also the feeling that basically goes and permeates throughout the entire game. And you never once feel like things are out of place or they don't make sense. It's just really, really well done all the way through. And of course, you're going to be exploring this giant magical world on your broom. And I think the thing that blew me away about the broom is how much it feels like you're actually flying a broom. They managed to even make you feel immersed while you're flying around above the landscapes. And one of the things that kind of made this the case is the fact that like when you get low to the ground, your sort of turbo boost doesn't deplete while you're low to the ground. So they sort of encourage you to, as you're flying your broom, to like dive between trees and go around huts and, you know, really see the world from close so that you can go faster and just zoom by. And it's not just a means of traveling the world. It feels like its own gameplay element where you're enjoying the moments on your broom as well. And it's not just a means to get from point A to point B. You know, I was expecting it to be just more of a mechanism to get you across the map faster, but they really managed to make me feel like I was flying. And that's, again, not something I was going to expect at all. And of course, while you're flying around on your broom and you're landing at different locations throughout the world, you're going to find inevitably lots of loot in this game. And I think the thing that caught me off guard about the loot system is how much depth it has. It has a lot more depth than I originally thought. There's to say that a lot of the loot in the game is randomized, meaning that like you have qualities of loot from, you know, uncommon, rare, legendary, etc. The typical things you would normally see, but some of them are randomized. Like the legendary items appear to have fixed locations from what I can tell so far. And the thing that really caught me off guard was that there's also unidentified items. So you're going to have to take these items and ID them, and you don't even know what you have until you take it back. So that's something I wasn't expecting. I mean, you see all the loot when you pick it up at the very beginning of the game, and then all of a sudden, like, you get a ways into the game, and all of a sudden you start getting unidentified loot, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? I did not know this was going to be a mechanic in the game, and it makes it far more interesting than I thought it would be. And the last thing I sort of want to talk about is, that's a little bit unrelated, but also a little bit related because you'll be tackling enemies with this, is the stealth mechanics in this game. The game has absolutely exceptional stealth mechanics. It's not something you would expect in a wizarding game. Like, it's just not something you'd expect. And as you go through and you're fighting enemies, you can absolutely use stealth to just wipe out whole packs of enemies effectively. And you can even get talents in the game that will make your stealth even stronger, make you even harder to detect. And I think it's a way of playing that most people might not have expected to use as much as you can possibly use in this game. In some ways, it kind of gives me this like Assassin's Creed vibe where you're creeping around, assassinating things. And it feels really good. Like, if you wanted to make like a stealthy assassin wizard type character, you absolutely can if you want to roleplay that way. And I've just had a ton of fun using the stealth mechanic, and I didn't think that was going to be a huge part of my gameplay because, again, it's not something you typically attribute to wizarding. So that was really fun, something that I wasn't expecting. So in summary, there are just so many things about this game that I wasn't expecting to be there that have absolutely just made me enamored with this game. And I think in just about every capacity, this game has met or exceeded my expectations. But having an absolute blast. So again, big shout out to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video. You can use the tracking link below if you want to pick up the game. And if you guys are pre-ordering or if you want to buy the game on Xbox S and X, PlayStation 5 or PC, the deluxe edition of the game, you can play today. So make sure you do that if you want. Use our tracking link to help support the channel. So what do you guys think of the things on this list? What are some of the things that you didn't expect that are in the game if you're playing in the early access period? And what are some things you expect to be in the game that you haven't seen yet that you're hoping will be revealed later to you or on YouTube or something like that? Let us know in the comments below.